Okay, welcome back. This is session 4 of expert sessions on eyebrows and skin here with Angela Bern. Angela Bern Castagnola, Angela Castagnola. Basically, if you're my client, you might know me under any of those names. But you can reach out to me whether you're my client or not, either at angelabern.com. That's Angela, B-E-R-N, like the capital of Switzerland, spelled the English way, the American way, I guess. angelabern.com. And you can ask me questions from there, reach out and give me comments. Feel free. If you are one of my clients, you can text me and ask me questions. You can message me if you use Facebook, or you can even email me if you are someone who has the hookup and has my information, which many of my clients do. So shout out to all of my clients. I miss you. I wish I was working. I wish of course, that none of this was happening to anyone. We are at the end of March, beginning of April, and this is the time of the coronavirus. So we are all on a little bit of lockdown. Basically, if you have an eyebrow artist or a facialist, they and their studio are pretty much shut down. Not pretty much, they are. So you are at home alone with your eyebrows and skin. So I am here to help you. Typically, I'd be at work in Fremont at Christy Carno Salon, where I have a studio inside, or at my standalone studio in West Seattle. So to my clients across the country and my clients here in the Seattle area, hang in there, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And to anyone else who might be watching, I am excited to tell you a little bit about the biggest bang for your buck in terms of skin and some of the things to look out for. All right, so here they are. So as you've heard me say before, I'm not quite a seasoned professional, and let me tell you, I really have a lot of admiration for those people who do a lot of TV or even YouTube sessions, because it takes a lot of energy, but it's fun and I want to do it because I want to connect with you. So once again, just to remind you, I am not promoting the sale of anything. I am not sponsored by anyone. I am just here giving you my expertise and my expert opinion. So the obvious caveat is that it is my opinion. I do claim to be an expert, but it also is my opinion. So take it as you will. Use your best judgment. Feel free to ask questions. So in relation to your skin, the biggest bang for your buck, so let me go down the line, would be a good skincare routine, a high frequency machine. I'll get to the details of all these. Botox. I have mixed feelings about it, but it still is a big bang for your buck. Basically a really well executed facial that includes extractions. So great big bang for your buck. Well worth it. The last one, in my opinion, is dermaplaning. That's the removal of peach fuzz and hair on your face. Now I'm going to dive a little deeper. I forgot to set my timer because I'm trying to keep these to 15 minutes. So far, I've failed. And what I'm really looking for is that you are able to watch these segments for about 15 minutes and get something out of them. I find that I have about that much time for things I'm interested in, so I bet you do too. Right now, I'm running at about 17 and a half minutes. So let's see if we can achieve 15. I like a good goal. Okay, good daily routine. Why is it a big bang for your buck? It's because it's like vitamins and nutrients for your skin. So a good skincare routine is really great. It creates consistent skin. You can always use the touch test and the feel test to see if you've got a good routine for your skin. What you're looking for is when you feel your skin, now do it safely in these times, but when you feel your skin, you want to feel smooth skin, you want to feel supple, you want it to feel soft to the touch, and when you feel it from the inside in terms of temperature, you want it to feel a neutral temperature. So if you're outside in the cold, it might be cold, but generally you want it to feel about neutral, not too hot. Again, unless you're out in the sun or in a sauna where it's meant to be hot. And then you generally want it to feel maybe like it's gotten a live kind of alert feeling, and you'll know what I mean when I contrast it to this other feeling, which is a prickly, stingy, burny, achy feeling. Those are the things that you don't want. So if your skin is feeling that way typically, then there's something going on that hopefully you'll be able to find a good expert, someone who you can reach out to like me, who will help you figure out the best routine to take care of your skin, maybe including a facial with them, or if you're my client, of course, including a facial with me possibly, but basically having good skincare routine. Now, I do have my own product line, Castanola Skincare. That is not what I'm here promoting. I'm just letting you know that a good skincare routine for your skin type is going to do wonders and make your skin respond consistently to you, for you as well. All right. The pitfalls of that are just finding the expert to help you if you don't know your skin type or your skin condition, and sometimes going to a cosmetic counter or trying to get something online can be tricky because often the people who are selling those products don't have the breadth of experience of actually working with skin. I'm not saying they specifically, the person you're working with doesn't, but quite often most of the people don't. If they've been an esthetician and worked with lots of skin, obviously not true in their case. All right, so that's number one, a good skincare routine. Okay, number two is a high frequency machine. So these vary in how they look and their size, but I use these in my spa practice on my clients when I do facials. I've also used them in waxing. This is just a particular name. It's not one that I, again, am saying is the best. It's just one that I have been using. And the one that your esthetician uses may be a little stronger than one that you end up using at home if you should get one at home. So the upside is that high frequency current creates ozone, and it creates a high frequency electric current that has a low level of penetration. It kills bacteria, it speeds up healing, it promotes circulation and the production of elastin and collagen, and also can help to soften the dermal layer just a bit so that your products can penetrate even better. It can be used for a variety of things other than that, but it really does not have a downside. So it's one of those things that I feel like is pretty magical and useful. So say you have a breakout or blemishes, or say you have a little bacterial invasion or infection somewhere. A lot of times people get them right here, sometimes from holding their phone, or sometimes they'll get them right here. But they usually look like a bunch of just little baby pimples. So the high frequency machine, when used over a little period of time, can get rid of that if it's a bacterial invasion. But if it's just a blemish and you come in for a treatment like a facial, or if your esthetician like I do does little sessions with high frequency, they can just use the high frequency on clean, dry skin. And just that one session of about a minute to a total of 5 used everywhere on your face can kill the bacteria and promote healing and basically get rid of your blemish really quickly and prevent others from coming. So very useful, really no downside. Whereas if you were taking antibiotics or using some type of a topical cream to get rid of acne, sometimes there is a downside, like drying of the skin or internal imbalance, which as we know as women, and men do too, can create a proliferation of yeast and create a yeast infection. Okay, so high frequency, it's pretty much 99% good. Good skincare routine is probably at about 80% good, because you do need a couple of other things to make it work well, but still pretty good. Next, we move to Botox. Now, I have mixed feelings about Botox, but I have used Botox back in 2005, ages ago. I had a large downtown salon and spa, and we had a medical spa as part of it. So we had doctors on staff. We did Botox and fillers. So I was one of the semi-early adopters of receiving Botox regularly. Now, I thought that it worked really well. At the time, I was about 36. So quite honestly, I needed very little of it. And at the time, any little wrinkle that shows up at first, you think, what? So in retrospect, really, there wasn't that much going on, but they were starting to show up. Okay, so great thing, smooths lines, especially right in here, smooths forehead lines, smooths crow's feet lines, and also can smooth the little bunny lines in here. There's a variety of other stuff that Botox can do, but I want to stick with those primarily. So very effective. Usually you see the result within 2 weeks, and it basically eradicates that line because it stops your muscle from contracting and moving, so it doesn't make that expression. Okay, so that brings us to an obvious potential downside, or to me it's obvious, is that when you can't express yourself like you typically do, it changes your face. So it changes the dynamic nature of your face and your expressions. And sometimes it's not as beautiful, not as attractive, not as appealing, although it might look smooth. So that's one of the trade-offs. Another one might be that you might get bruising. Now, I took a long period of time where I didn't receive Botox, even after I was receiving it for quite a while. And then I've recently gone back to it and gotten little tiny doses of Botox and have begun to check it out to see. Now, right now, coronavirus prevented me from getting my most recent Botox treatment, so I'm showing my lines, and that's just how it is. All right, so my advice overall with Botox would be to parse it out and don't necessarily get your treatment every 3 months. That's what I did for quite a while. I would say over a period of about 5 years, I was pretty religious about getting those treatments every 3 months. I found that there were some detrimental effects, both visually and physically and health-wise, in terms of my eyes, my actual eyes, not the look of my skin around my eyes. So I had some significant problems and eye issues that, in my opinion, my expert opinion, were directly related to getting Botox really consecutively. So, and the amount probably that I was getting too. Now, but I am not supported by Botox Cosmetics. I have nothing against them. Allergan, I think, is the big company. Don't have anything against them. I'm just telling you what I've experienced. So, and they list this on the side effects anyway. So, bruising, a little bit of pain, maybe an injector who is not super technically proficient, or just hitting a vein or a spot in a muscle that doesn't quite do what you want. You can get a very wide-eyed, I call it runaway bride. I had one of those on one of my driver's licenses. Or you can get a droop, which is kind of like, makes you feel like you're drunk. Literally, even though it's just a droop in your eyes. You can also get the spring in your arch where you look a little crazy. So there are things and that can happen, and downsides. You can get a headache. You could also, because your muscles aren't contracting, expanding, and making that motion, they don't encourage the release of toxins, and that was one of the contributors to my eye issues. But that in general can be something to think about. Also, your other muscles will start overworking, so it creates a little bit of a skew or a different balance in your dynamic expression. So you look different than you did before. For some people, they're perfectly happy with that, and then for others, they don't like it as much. And visually, when you're looking at someone who you're close to or someone you know, you can tell, even if you don't know that's what you're seeing when someone has had Botox, but it does remove the lines. So big bang for your buck. I would say lots of potential downsides, some very heightened potential upsides as well. It's kind of expensive too, so that can be a downside. All right, so facials and getting your extractions done in a facial, we're at 11 minutes and 12 seconds. I'm doing better. So if you get a very, just wonderful, all-inclusive facial that is executed very well by an esthetician, someone who is recommended to you or who you already know is great, that is a very good bang for your buck, because you're getting a lot of things all at once. You're getting extractions done, which creates clarity, helps your pores to stay smaller because they're not clogged with the little debris that keeps expanding them. When they get cleared out, they can shrink back down, especially when you still have a lot of elasticity in your skin. So great to start getting facials early. Facials also are a great connection between you and another person. If that person is able to deliver a really good space for you, it can be very healing, therapeutic, in addition to taking really great care of your skin. And that's not just because that's what I do for a living. It's really what I have noticed from my professional expertise, that skin that is treated with facials regularly over long periods of time always looks better than skin that has not been. And even young skin treated by facial performs more consistently, and especially acneic skin as well, or skin that's prone to breakouts. Rosacea can be treated really well by a knowledgeable esthetician, and extractions can be done very carefully. So the downsides, that you might have a hard time finding the right person to give you your facial. That is really what you're looking for. You're looking for someone who is capable with extractions, can remove milia, the little white clogs that are covered with a layer of skin, who is good at working with blemishes or acne, and also great with aging skin. So you kind of want someone who's got a lot of experience, but also has a very soothing and healing touch. I do some guided meditations in my facials and do kind of a really well-rounded approach and attention to parts of the whole body, in a sense, the central nervous system, and relaxing that. So I love doing that. I think it's a very great connection for me and my clients. So dermaplaning. Dermaplaning, I would say, so if we're weighing the facials, all you really need is to find the right person. Sometimes that can be hard. So I think that could be like maybe 20 to 30% difficult to find the right person to treat your particular skin, who you also really like. But once you found them, you're set. You're golden, 100%. Dermaplaning. So great for removing the fine hair on the face, and even more, slightly more thick hair as well. It creates a nice, smooth look to your skin. If it's done by a professional who's very skilled, then you shouldn't experience the potential downside, which would be you could get little scrapes to your skin. I've definitely seen that, not in my own practice, but from people who have had it done and the person maybe just wasn't careful enough. If you've got lots of raised moles or blemishes, then dermaplaning with the blade that they use can be tricky and a little more difficult. So basically they're removing all of the little hairs around your face, and usually they might go back here to your neck, which I have those little peach fuzzy hairs, and here in the front of your neck as well. Potential downside could be when the hair grows back, depending on the skill of the person performing the dermaplaning. It might feel a little more prickly, or you might just not like the feel of it because the hair does grow back. But if they taper the cut, then the hair grows back feeling a little softer than if they work up against the hair growth. So I would say it gives a nice glow. It creates an opportunity for circulation to speed up. You can be a little red afterwards, a little red to quite red, and that can last for a couple of days. Just depends on your skin. Most people who I see 2 days after dermaplaning look fantastic. 1 day, most people still look fantastic. Right after, most people look pretty red. So just word to the wise, you're probably going to be a little red after dermaplaning. Not saying you always will, but probably. But the skin usually has a really nice glow. potential downside, again, would be that once you remove that little halo, that protective layer of fuzz, you might see pigmentation marks or moles or irregularities or even fine lines or wrinkles a little more easily. So sometimes that can be like that fuzzy glow, the beauty filter on a camera. All right, so I would say dermaplaning probably when performed by a very skilled esthetician or whoever is performing it that's an expert and they're doing it well, I would say that it has a really great chance of creating 90% positive experience. The downsides are the regrowth and how frequently you might have to do it, the potential for someone maybe scraping the layer of skin, or if you have blemishes or raised moles, makes it a little tricky and you might not be a great candidate, or they might just have to work around those areas, and that you will be red afterwards. So just pay attention and don't plan anything for right after, unless it's with a close friend, or unless you're on lockdown, although, you know, your people are on lockdown too. So, all right. Thank you so much for joining me. This is the 4th session, and I look forward to creating more and answering more questions. Kevin, who is on camera here at his south of Seattle studio, has been really great. This is a lot of work to set up, even if it doesn't look like that, everyone. And it's super exciting and fun to connect with you. Please feel free to reach out, ask me questions, and in this time, just know that I'm here for you, and I look forward to seeing you when we're all back again and everyone is feeling healthy. All right. I will see you around.